Hello, and welcome to episode of 11 of In the Wrong Bed podcast. I'm your host, Justin Weigler. As always, with me is Jonathan Sokol. And today we're going to be talking about Premier League. Also, the UK Open coming up this weekend, which is always one of the more fun tournaments, I think, on the calendar because it is just so absolutely unpredictable what's going to happen.
And you can watch darts on like 6 screens at once with multiple boards. It's quite the experience.
It's a veritable cornucopia of darts. And quality too. You're amazing to see how occasionally you get the terrible game on board 7 where 8 people are watching it live and the audience behind them. It's actually kind of fun to watch that. It's just an atypical audience.
It is. It's my favorite tournament of the year, I think. It's just such a massive amount of players and a lot of interesting people get into it and a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Let's start off with the Premier League, though. Want to just remind everybody that we did hit our Christobi over 95.5 pick average last week. That was our best bet. It barely got there because he was terrible the first 5 legs of the match scoring wise.
He was. Yeah.
He finally picked it up, and then it did actually come through. I think it was 95.57 or something like that. But it did hit over 95.5, and they don't ask how much, they just ask how. So I'm not sure. We'll look through as we go through the odds. We can see if we have a bet we really like this week. I think we probably have a difference of opinion on maybe one of the two these week. But the first matchup in the Premier League is Rob Cross and Michael Van Gerwen. Cross plus 145, Gerwen minus 165. I don't know what to like here because Rob Cross has not been good. And Michael Van Gerwen sometimes looks great and then sometimes just forgets to show up like he did in the second match last week against Aspinall.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in the second match. I really liked Van Gerwen to win it last week, and he let me down.
It was bizarre. He just like looked disinterested almost. Like he just can't find, like he just, his problem actually hasn't been the scoring as much as his doubling's been more erratic.
Yeah.
But his scoring wasn't even all that great, which is why like Asp just kind of kept hanging around, and that's what honestly Nathan Aspinall loves to do to you. Is he just likes to hang around, kind of nip at your heels, put pressure on you to miss darts, and then he'll come through and he'll take it away. But it's rare that he just power scores you and wins that way just by outscoring you.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the Cross Van Gerwen. I might have to take Cross here if I had to pick. As bad as he's played, like plus 145. I know I've been hating on Michael Van Gerwen all year, but last week kind of proves why.
I got to stick with Van Gerwen on this one. Minus 1.5, minus 108. That's what I'm looking at, and just feel like I don't think Rob Cross has shown enough this year. He's classically the most consistent player, but surprisingly
He's been consistently bad.
Yeah,
I mean that's just it. He's been like that first leg between him and Aspinall was absolutely unwatchable, and we're sitting there, my mouth is agape, and I cannot believe that it took him 10 darts he missed in the first leg and still lost the leg. And Asp was nowhere even close. He was 300 points back.
Yeah.
How does this happen? It's like modus.
Yeah, that did him in. And then after that, you knew
he didn't recover.
It was over. Yeah.
That's just it. I think I told you immediately. As sold as I'm watching that match, I told him, I was like, there's no way Cross is winning this match.
Yeah,
he's not recovering from that. And just live bet. I live bet against him.
Yeah,
because I just couldn't believe, like, it's stuff like that. You're just like shaking your head like that can't happen, and it's rare that it happens at that level. That happens in modus frequently. You'll see that. You don't see that.
Morning, a Barry Copeland match against Gates. Barry Copeland was unbelievable. God. Yeah, just couldn't close out the last 2 legs at all. But good for Gates. He got that one.
Yeah, no, not good for us though. We've got and he should have won that. And that's the worst. I know we're getting sidetracked here. The worst thing about Modus is that their darts can be their doubling can be so bad sometimes that it feels like they're throwing matches. I don't think that was the case today with Copeland against Gates, but you know, yeah, that was just brutal. When we had him easily to win either 4-2 or 4-3 and just could not do it.
Yeah,
As a decent underdog too.
I know.
That was the worst part.
Yeah, he was plus 140. The thing about Modus, when you get into these doubling out kind of competitions, it just makes you feel like you're flipping coins, or like these guys are getting there first and they're not even
the massive underdog
close
at
it
plus
out.
140. You figure, okay,
Well,
I'd still take that, which
I
I probably still would take that bet again. But I can't believe that he couldn't miss 10 match starts, something absolutely insane. Just I'm glad I didn't watch it live. Let's just say this: my computer would be destroyed at this point if I watched that live.
Yeah, the daddy did not bring home the bacon.
No, the daddy was the one who got spanked. So as we've been completely derailed by ourselves, the Van Gerwen Cross, you're taking Van Gerwen. I'm taking Cross in this. I just think Cross can't possibly be this bad several weeks because he's going to fall out real quick. If he doesn't pick it up, he's just going to be. It gets late early in the Premier League.
Yeah,
like he's going to be in Stephen Bunting territory, real quick. So he's got to. I think he actually needs to smash. I think
he needs a win. Yeah,
I just like him at. I don't. If I'm flipping a coin, you tell me who's going to win. It's going to be Van Gerwen. I just like the 145 price. I think it probably should be a little bit more towards 120, but
that's fair.
That's just me.
Yeah.
Second match is Humphreys versus Price. Gerwen Price minus 135 against Humphreys minus 155. I'm really liking Gerwen the way he's playing right now. I kind of like him with this.
Yeah, that one again just feels like a little too much juice, and this one should be a bit closer than that. So the plus 135 for Gerwen does seem pretty appetizing to me as well.
Yeah, he's been I think probably this player over the last 3 weeks, just consistently between Pro Tour and Premier League. He's just played so well. Like his scoring's been good, his doubling's been so, and that's usually what fails him is his doubling.
Yeah,
he sometimes gets in these quirks where he can't hit double 10, and he just and then throws himself to the fives where he isn't great at, but always. So, but he's been good. He's been solid on tops and 10. So, I like him to win. I'm going to bet him outright in this match.
Me too. I'm on Price with you on that one.
Yeah. Third match is Dobie versus Asp. Chris is minus 150. Nathan plus 130. I don't know if last week was just kind of a blip on the radar for Aspinall playing well, or he kind of got a little bit lucky how he played against who he played.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Once he got to the finals against Price, he got smashed.
He did. I think he played okay, but I think it was more about the people he played against, not
that's kind of my point.
Through. Yeah. Then
like the people played. If Van Gerwen plays up to his B+ game, I think Michael Van Gerwen wins. Yeah. I think if Cross doesn't blow that first leg from being up 300 points and needing 10 darts to check out, I think he wins that. I think he wins that match too. I think Aspinall's definitely got a little lucky there. That being said, he could win this game. I think I like Dobie minus 150, but it's so the Premier League is so tough to predict because you don't know who shows up one day and who doesn't. Mm-hmm. Which is why taking underdogs is usually the correct course for the Premier League because anyone can beat anyone in the Premier League. They
It's
really can.
to me, the Premier League is the toughest thing to bet in all of darts. It's just the matchups, the spreads, there is just usually not as much uh, potential for edge there, and it just feels like anything is happening week to week in the Premier League, and just very tough, I think.
Well,
To
I mean,
bet.
it's why people watch it, because there's no guaranteed winner every week, and
Yeah,
there's no guarantee that anyone's going to, even the 4 matches. Like, we'll talk about our next one too, like um, with Bunting and Littler, and that's the biggest spread of the week. You're not complete. I mean, Bunting has been great, but you're not completely surprised he wins that. But
yeah.
I mean, Dobie and Aspinall, well, I'll probably stay away from this. Honestly, if I had to pick, I'd
No,
take Dobie. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I love it.
no. I mean, he's been pretty solid in the Premier League so far, but last week really struggled. So who knows? I would like it'd be nice to see him go out and take this one, but it's hard to not want to take the plus money again on Aspinall against somebody that I feel like generally Adobe is not that trustworthy to as some of the top players that you can take him at minus 150 and feel like he's coming through for that price.
Yeah, you know who he reminds me of a little bit? Is sometimes like a slightly better Ross Smith.
Oh.
Like better on more less 180s, but more consistent scoring, if that makes sense.
Yeah, still struggles with his checkout. He's the type of guy that I really feel like I don't trust checking out. Out of the whole Premier League, I feel like Dobie's the one I trust the least with his checkouts. I don't know if the numbers back that up.
Probably,
I should
yeah. I
have
don't know.
prepped
That's interesting. I
for
wonder if
that,
the numbers backed up. I think that's probably correct. The second, oddly enough, I might say at the moment, is MVG.
yeah, that could
Which is very just
well be.
bizarre to say that you put him in a group with 8 people, he might be the worst or second worst person in there to check out. But it's just, that's the one thing I haven't trusted with MVG all year, is you never know if his checking out solid, he's going to be okay. But like, it's just not what he used to be. It used to just be deadly.
Yeah.
You gave him 3 clear and forget it. You knew he was taking it out.
Right. It's like a Tiger
And
Woods
now,
putt. He's making it. It's like you give
inside
him
10 feet,
yeah,
Tiger's making it. And that's just it.
Yeah.
And that's not the case anymore with them. And you're right. And Dobie's kind of and Aspa's the kind of guy who will take advantage of that. If you give Aspa a chance, he's been good. He's been solid checking out and kind of, putting the screws to you when he's had his opportunities. He takes his opportunities well. He just hasn't always been giving himself those opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I take Dobie to win the match, but I don't like the price, which is why I'm going to stay away.
I'm in the same boat. Probably if I was, I don't think I'm putting any money on it, but if I was, I actually would lean towards the plus 130 for Aspinall. I don't know. I just think Dobie, right? At least in the moment, I just don't have great feelings about him. It's more like a Rocco Mediate to Luke Littler, Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. From Pittsburgh, by the way.
Yeah, I can kind of tell. I feel like he seems like
he has
a
the Yinzer accent.
blue collar guy. He's
blue collar guy. Yeah, they all loved Rocco back in Pittsburgh.
I bet.
Man. Now you got me thinking. Nah, you know what? I was gonna stick with Dobie. He's overall been playing better. I'm not sure how much I trust him, but
yeah.
The fourth and final match, Bunting against Littler. Bunting plus 240 against Littler, who lost in the first round last week. He's not had a great Premier League so far.
No,
not as bad as Bunting. I mean, I think Littler's going to kind of eye this up and be like, I'm gonna pounce when this guy's down, kick him while he's down. Hopefully, like he's got to get. He has that killer instinct in him. I think.
He does, and poor Bunting still looking for his first win, and now, of course, has to face Littler this week, and it's going to be very difficult to get that first one this time. But
yeah, this is a bad spot for Bunting. He just hasn't. He just hasn't quite put it together. Like his scoring was either not there, or then his checking out wasn't quite there. Like stuff he's usually money on, he just hasn't been, and it hasn't. And I know he had 100 last week, like 100 average last week. Didn't feel like it though.
I know,
Like
no, it really didn't.
he felt like he pulled a Wessel Nyman on us, where he threw 180s when it didn't matter. Yeah, to boost up the average, and then when he actually needed to get out ahead of the leg, he couldn't do it.
Yeah. Speaking of the averages, so we won't go through them all individually, but something to keep in mind with the averages that with guys playing Littler and even a Humphreys, if you're playing these guys who are throwing out 100 pluses on the regular, it really does pull the other person's average. Well, it could go two ways, but I think majority of the time it pulls the other person's average up quite a bit. It could go the way of demoralizing them and causing them to sort of mentally check out early. But I think at this level, these guys are not doing that. So,
yeah, they don't want to do that on a Premier League night. Like they
right.
definitely try to put their best foot forward all the time. And I would also say on top of it that I agree with you completely in that when they're having if they're checking out in 12 darts or they're checking out or 15 darts all the time, that means that their opponents just having less chances of checking out as well. And because of that, you've low score darts that they're aiming for. So by nature, that's going to drag the averages up. So I think you're spot on with that. It really does. You're right on someone who's hitting like Littler's hitting 12 dart outs and Humphreys who hits a lot of 12 dart legs. That means oftentimes, especially if they're throwing first, you only have your 9 scoring darts and that's all you get at a leg.
Yeah, and if that's half the legs you're seeing, then you're really getting a pretty big boost. If you look at people's 9 darts versus their 3 dart, usually you have what a 8 to 10 point spread there, I would say. So it's
they're going to you're probably there's quite a bit of difference. And then interesting bet. It didn't even occur to me to do this. I wonder if you could do it in the same match, bet both overs or bet unders. They're dragging each other down or dragging each other up.
Yeah,
if one's going to go over, the other one might, if it's correlated.
It definitely is correlated. So I've not attempted parlaying those things. Generally speaking, whenever I've tried to parlay things in darts,
generally speaking, the way you do it. Yeah. They don't let you do it because they don't like same game parlaying things in darts, but they don't let you do it, but not for the right reasons. They do it because they don't know what they're doing and they kind of know it, not because that these two things might actually be correlated, and that you should be bringing it.
Yeah, I haven't tested it out for some of the Premier League props like this, so that would be probably the most likely place you may be able to do something like that. So we'll have to see this week if that's possible.
Yeah, but I kind of agree with you. They probably don't want that though. Yeah. But before we move on, do we who do you like for the Bunting match? I can't go against Littler. I think Littler smells blood.
Yeah.
Does he cover the 2.5 though?
Man, I think so. Also, I mean, if you told me straight out that Bunting would win both, then obviously you take the plus 2.5. Well, maybe not obviously, but I would. I just feel like Bunting can probably, keep it within one break. But
is he going to win the bull?
Well, no, he's not. So
yeah, exactly. And that's just it.
That's why I would take the minus 2.5.
Loses the bull.
Yeah,
you end up 6-3. And that's that's kind of what I think. I'm kind of thinking too. I think this feels like 6-3 or better, Littler. I think 6-3 or 6-2.
Yeah, Littler's winning the bull a majority of the time for sure in this match.
Yeah, which is really interesting because I want to look at his stats. It feels like he wins the bull to start the match, but he's been going for bull. He goes for bull a lot to check out, and he hasn't been
He
hitting a
doesn't
lot.
hit it. Yeah. He might be maybe that's an interesting point actually, but I felt the same way. I don't feel like I've seen him get a 170 in a long time.
I thought
Actually,
he hit it 2 weeks ago, didn't he?
I don't know.
In the Premier League?
that could be
I
my
thought he hit
memory was wiped for I guess for that long.
yeah,
ago.
but yeah, in general, he has not been hit. It seems to be he's had a lot of attempts, at least two or three per match. It seems.
Oh yeah, he always gives
and
himself multiple attempts per match.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes he intentionally does that as well. He intentionally leaves 170s when he doesn't need to. Like he'll throw it on 184 with one dart left. He'll throw it the 14s instead of the 20s to get a 170 instead of
yeah,
164
points. Yeah,
he sacrifices the points to go for it.
Yeah.
All right. So who do we like to win the week? I know what our simulation kind of thinks who should win this week, which we're kind of not in love with this.
Can't say that it thinks it will win this week, but it likes versus
value.
the odds. Yeah, the value.
That's
so
a good
Chris Dobie has winning about 10% of the time, and so given the fact that he's, I believe, 18-1, that's where we're showing the most value.
Dobie's at 15 to
15-1. Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, the main reason there is he's a pretty big fave in the first round. So, getting through one round in an 8-person tournament, that's a big deal. So,
yeah, exactly.
So, assuming that he has a good chance to get to the first round and then win a couple upsets from there, yeah, I don't mind it at those odds.
I like it. I like it at that price. I don't like him to win it. My favorite to win this week actually is probably Gerwin Price again.
Man,
I think he's going to have some support down at Exeter. It's kind of close to Wales. I think that he's been playing the best out of anybody the last few weeks. I think he's just absolutely been the best player in the world the last few weeks. Just consistently good. High 90s average, hitting his doubles, consistently good scoring. He's just he's locked in right now.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I still feel like Van Gerwen's gotta get one of these. He's probably my pick again, and the fact he's going against Rob Cross in the first round, I think he can take down Rob Cross, and he might run into Gerwin Price though,
or Luke Humphreys. It's not exactly an easy road.
Those honestly, the two hottest players.
There's no easy road. There's no easy road in the Premier League.
Yeah, Humphreys and Price probably playing the best, and they're playing each other in the first round.
Yeah, I kind of agree. So yeah, I think that's a very viable pick. I could absolutely see MVG winning. I like Gerwin Price at plus 800 though, versus Gerwin's price at plus 500. I think the difference in the pricing though is because one's facing Rob Cross versus Luke Humphreys.
Yeah,
and there's your difference right there.
Exactly. So Price, last week Price had to play through Littler, Humphreys, and then he finally got Aspinall in the finals. But he's actually proving himself to be a bit of a Littler,
a Luke Slayer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, both Lukes really. I'm not sure his record versus Humphreys, but I know for a fact against Littler, Price has actually got a winning record, which
is crazy that anyone
has to say that.
Yeah, there aren't, and I'm not sure there's any pros right now that can say that, unless someone beat him once in like a pro tour or something weird like that. But yeah, Gerwin Price has had his number, and he's not afraid to play him, and he seems to play him quite well.
He does. We got to look out for that in the future, I think.
Yeah, I don't think this phases Littler quite yet because he hasn't had to run into anybody who has his number that much. But if this continues for a few more matches, it might start to get in his head a little bit. Because the
Yeah, he
dart
might
players
start
know their
thinking
records
about it.
against people. They might not know
Yeah.
the exact record, but they know if they've done well or done poorly against somebody.
Yeah, maybe Gerwin's going to remind him every time they
He
get
might.
on the hockey together.
Yeah, exactly. I would be. They talk crap in the back room all the time. Like, I'm sure, like, if he thinks if he thinks it's going to work to get in his head, it might not work. Like, I'm not sure anything gets
He's
in Michael Van Gerwen's head, for instance. I don't think things bother him.
No.
I think, but Littler, remains to be seen. But there's some people you definitely can get in their head.
Rob Cross.
Rob Cross.
No.
The more emotional dart players, I think, actually, Rob Cross isn't one of them, but the more emotional dart players, you can tell, you can sometimes get in their heads.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. So now we'll move on to the UK Open. One of our favorite tournaments there. I know it's your favorite tournament.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Why
I
do you
wanted to just take off of work and just treat it like a March Madness type of situation, but fortunately, I'll be working on Friday, so I won't get to watch much of the darts action until the weekend. But I am very excited though, and I'll be checking the scores at least to see how everything's going.
Yeah, I think the fun part about the UK Open is that it's one, you do have a ton of people, and so people come in at different levels. The top 32 don't come into round 4, but then you've got a lot of upsets going on in earlier matches. And you always get, a couple Cinderellas that you love to see kind of come through and beat people. You always have that every year. I mean, Adam Gablas was a semifinalist, 2 years ago.
Oh man!
In the year that Andrew Gilding won, which says everything that Andrew Gilding won a major. It was the UK Open. But one of the reasons why I like it and why I think we're going to talk about now is with the UK Open, the unique factor about it is that they redraw every round after the 4th round, or actually during the 4th round and afterwards, I should say. And so what happens is that you could have, a Luke versus Luke, who are 1 and 2 in the world, into the 5th round. Like, you could see that happen in the round of 16, and that a lot of upsets happen because you get lucky. And when betting this is a tournament not to bet favorites, it's to bet long shots, because you have things like Andrew Gilding could have gotten who did Mike? I can't remember who Michael Van Gerwen beat in the semifinals the year Gilding beat him in the final. But Gilding got Adam Gablas instead of Michael Van Gerwen in the semis, which everyone wanted him. That was the guy you wanted to play because you knew he was the outlier there. And that helped propel him into the final because he had that easy match. Now, he still had to beat MVG against the darts in a great final, 10-9. But he didn't have to play him in the semis. He had to play him in the final. And, being able to have easier matches just randomly drawn along your way oftentimes determines a winner in this, or at least who gets farther.
Yeah, the draw is going to end up determining so much. This is a tournament I will not be simulating because
you can't simulate it. We can't simulate it because you have no idea who's going to play who.
Yeah, you'd have to just randomize it, but then you'd have to run millions upon millions probably of simulation.
Yeah, exactly.
To get
you can play any one of 31 matches in your round of 32. Out. Yeah, exactly.
So this has actually happened to me before. In the very first tournament I ever played, I felt like I got such an easy draw against people that even though I was not very good, I suddenly made the top 8 out of a 60-person tournament. And it was just because I kept drawing people that I at least had a chance to beat, and finally ran into some good players.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was on the other side of the bracket, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
It really, yeah, you can have an easy path. You can work your way through this tournament, and yeah, who knows who we'll see in the final eight, final four.
Yeah, there's a couple people I actually think that I like the value for the price, and one of the ones that who actually, and I know I can't believe I might actually be betting on him, is Joe Cullen. He's actually been playing halfway decent. He's going off at 100 to 1. This feels like a tournament that if he gets on a roll, he can actually do a lot of damage if he gets draws right.
Yeah, I agree, and he's the type of player who can get hot, and he's shown it. I actually feel like, yeah, he's got some potential lately to really turn it on. So I like that as an option. Yet, honestly, a lot of the people in the group around 100, 125, that's really where I'm looking and feeling like there's value. Like you even have a James Wade in there at 100 to 1. Dom
James
Taylor,
Wade 100 to 1 seems he's won this 3 times. Like it's not like he's no experience here.
Dom Taylor 125 to 1. Woodhouse.
I like. I take Luke Woodhouse at 125 to 1. I just think that in a tournament like this, you want someone who also might be a little bit of an up and comer. Draw could break their way. Has a good enough A game to beat almost anybody. They do need, Gilding was a bit of a surprise, but Gilding's thrown out the odd 110 in a pro tour. Like, it's not like when he gets hot that he can't play well. Right. I mean, he was definitely surprised, but I think he was 100 to 1 when he won, or 150 to 1 when he won the UK Open. Dimitri Van den Berg last year won it, I think, at 100 to 1.
Yeah.
So it's not unreasonable for these long shots. And Dimitri Van den Berg obviously has a top game to play with the best of them when it's going right. Although he definitely had some shenanigans last year, playing people that was driving everybody insane. Slow playing in between darts and everything was driving. That's why the crowd was so against him. And just terrible to watch. But he did end up winning it. And, you kind of look for that kind of value. Who has the ability to get hot and has a really good A game that might be inconsistent. And that's the kind of person you want to win in like a tournament like this. Because round 4 is still only first to 6. So upsets happen in first to 6 all the time. And I think this is an opportunity for someone like that, has a good top game, might be a little inconsistent. It's the type that could come through a draw like this, or if they get lucky to have a potentially favorable draw, is what I should say.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see what happens. I mean, I'm definitely the most excited for this tournament out of all.
Yeah. So the ones I'm probably taking too many people. Cullen, Woodhouse. I also took someone, Connor Scott, at 80 to 1. He's been playing solid. He could get through the draw. He's got the ability
made it
to play
deep into a couple of majors before. So.
Yeah. The other guy who actually kind of fits this bill right now, who is a really hot top game, is Jermaine Wanamino.
I know.
80 to
1. Yeah. I'm on board with that. Yeah.
It's tempting. Here's a weird one.
Who's 50 to 1.
Yeah. Who's shot? I'm surprised he's this low. Is Richie Edhouse and Scott Williams are both at 150 to 1. I mean, Richie Edhouse won the European Championship. It's not like, I know he's not in top form at the moment, and he was in top form then. But it's not like he's never won anything before. For people going out of 151, just shows you, one, how many people are in this tournament. But also, there's a reason why 100 to 1 plus shots have won the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Is it because they can't come through? You'd be shocked if they came through in the Worlds, but you're not surprised when they come through in a relatively short format tournament to start, and then goes to, first to 10, and then first to 11, I think, in the final. But it's still, they're not. It still it has the ability for upsets. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I think hopefully we'll get together and be able to recap all of this next week, and we'll see what ended up happening. So
yeah, we'll see it comes through. Those are my picks for the week. So I think that'll probably about do it for us today, unless you have any more insights you want to add onto the UK.
No, those guys that I mentioned in that 100 to 125 range, that's really where I'm looking. I'll put a little bit on some of those and hope for someone to come through.
Exactly. All right. Well, that'll do it for this week. So this will close episode 11 of the In the Wrong Bed podcast. So for Jonathan Sokol and Justin Weigler, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
All right.